What's up, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more acid trance. And we're going back to a classic tune by an all-time classic artist. We're talking Solar Quest, aka George Fleming-Saunders, an acid artist of the very highest order, famous for his acid trance releases in the 90s on Chalky's tunes in particular, though he did make releases for SST as well. Yeah, just an absolute wizard and sort of whisperer of the 303, one of the best manipulators of the silver box ever. I made a similar comment on his Discogs page. I think I was the first one to comment on his page, and it was like, I don't know, 2011 or something like that, you know, long after his most famous tunes had been made. And then after that, a number of other people commented and said very similar things, that he basically made works of art. I mean, you can use them, and you do use them in DJ sets, but his tunes are so much more than like a, you know, dance floor banger and so on. They're just these acid works of art of remarkable eccentricity, length, and quality. So yeah, I'm gonna react to a tune that I was talking to a good friend of the channel, Tasos, about, and we were saying, I was saying that I absolutely loved the tune, and the part at the end, which is a very different section than most of the track, is one of the most glorious things. And Tasos was saying, like, it's not that he dislikes the part at the end, but he felt like it's such a different thing from what comes before it. It feels like another track just sort of grafted on to the first track. I'm sympathetic to that, but I was saying in reply that one of the reasons I do love the part at the end is because it feels like the main part of the tune, which is a very wicked and kind of dark and driving acid trance track, like a lot of his other work, and I think of, it's not quite as wicked and crazy as Harmonation Energic Trance, but it's sort of like that in that it's very like dark and driving and atmospheric and sort of mysterious. And then after about 7 or something minutes of that, it goes into this final, I think it's like 2.5 minutes of the most glorious, uplifting, euphoric acid you could possibly imagine. It's sort of trance, but it's more like, I don't know, acid ambient, acid sybient, you know, before that phrase was even used. But yeah, bottom line, it's this really cool part, and to me it works in the sense that, like, after that long, dark, and sort of grueling journey, in a good way, of the acid trance part of the tune, it feels like the part at the end is like the morning sunrise, like you went through a long, dark, and dangerous acidic night, and then you get to this acid, glorious sunrise in the morning at the end of the track. So I felt like, again, to me it's part of this like larger story, a two-part story, but I am sympathetic to what Tasos is saying, is that, you know, it's almost like two tracks put into one. I just think it sort of works that way, and sort of like the setup for the story and then the payoff for the story. Regardless, we'll listen to it and you can let me know your comments below. So yeah, this is from 1995. Oh, and that's another thing I realized when I went to react to this. So this is like a remix of Into the Machine. It doesn't say that here, it just says it like Into the Machine, you know, the A-side track. But if you look, it says that A is remixed by Chalky and Dave. Dave being Dave LaLouche, aka DDR. So this is essentially a DDR and Chalky remix of a Solar Quest track, which I never knew. So I'm intrigued by that. I just always thought this is, you know, properly a Solar Quest. No, it makes the point. The tune is written and produced by Solar Quest, but right, it's remixed by Chalky and Dave. So that's interesting. This is Chalky's Tunes 5. Like a lot from this era, they're sort of like limited edition. I don't know the exact count, but that's the way that they're like listed. So let's get it. This is from Chalky's Tunes, Into the Machine by Solar Quest, though, as I now know, apparently remixed by Chalky and Dave DDR. So here we go. And prepare yourself for quite the journey. Is it 45? I'm going to start on 45. If it's too fast, I will adjust. It is too fast, so I will adjust. Already like tell the tempo, like it's gonna have pace and energy, and you can tell it just by the quasi choral synth opening. That shift right there alone is like, oh man. likewise, this is a hint for the last part. Just, you can feel the part at the end with that rhythm. That's one hell of a clap. Gun clap. Kick right there with no hi-hat or like extra percussive support feels almost like hard acid-esque. And that sort of idiosyncratic like double step rhythm. Feels like you're running a gauntlet, like not only are you traveling at night through the dangerous, uncertain territory, it also feels like you're being sort of attacked or battered from all sides. The loud clap, that percussive rhythm, large like drum rolls. They don't have like a big dramatic cymbal crash at the end, so they just feel they're kind of like rolling through like waves. They're not like really like marking the transitions with a big splash. It's just like rolling intensity. And now very electric, buzzing acid spinal cord. Acid cicada. Wait for it. And at this point you're like, okay, I see what this track's doing. It's one of those acid hurricane tracks. Crazy clap rhythm too. It's that same like double step rhythm. You have it in the kick and in the clap. fireworks spraying about. Acid fireworks. Now the acid's going light speed. Traveling faster through the night, but still in great peril. In-section build like this is just insane. It's very like chirpy and almost like out of control at the top. But at the end of this long journey, perilous, dangerous, potentially violent, we get over the other side, and the acid sun is waiting for us. Hymns are like synth, like vocal synths. First time I heard this, I was like, I was genuinely moved at this part. I was just like, like a rich lather. Like xylophone. The sun just rising, getting brighter and brighter. Blue skies. Again, I've done this in a mix, like, you know, on SoundCloud, here on my YouTube. I never got to spin this track at a party as the final track in an otherwise, like, hard and driving set. I would have loved to have done so. like we're floating off the planet into that blue sky. It's just insane, like, in a wonderful, amazing, old school way. I think it fades for like another 40 seconds, so. With apologies to George, Mark, and Dave, I will continue, or I will begin my post-track analysis. Yeah, like I said, I think both parts of the track are brilliant in of themselves, so I am sympathetic to the idea that they're essentially two different tracks. But again, to me, and maybe it's just the way, maybe it is partly because in life, and including like in music, my mind is keen to narrativize things. I'm keen to sort of like find stories or conceive or see stories in art, even if it's not explicitly spelled out. So perhaps it's the way that my brain takes a track like that and turns it into like a two-part story. But yeah, I think it really works. And again, I've used that track as the last track in a mix on, again, like SoundCloud. Certainly, I know one of my acid-trance sessions volumes does indeed end with that track. I think it might be into like dark space, maybe. And I think that was like, my idea was, again, I spent a lot of tracks in that set that are a bit darker, like sort of dark acid trance, and then the last one, it begins that way, certainly, but it ends with a brighter, so I think my idea was that, like, we're going to go through dark space, and then this track will be the signal that we've come out of it on the other side, which again, like, even when I'm DJing, it's just, I'm sort of telling myself stories. So again, that might be part of why I like that tune so much, but I really would have loved the chance to mix that at an old school, like 90s or even early 2000s party, in an acid trance set where, again, most of the set is driving and hard, and then you end with that and just, sort of like walk away, and it's like, yes, that is the end of the story that I was telling. So once again, shout out to George in particular, as well as Mark and Dave. Do let me know what you think of the tune. Shout out to Tasos. Been talking to him about a lot of tracks lately, and sometimes when we're doing that, it's like, oh man, have I reacted to that? Because if not, I have to do that. And that was the case with this one. So do let me know what you think. I will see you next time. Peace.